B'ruchim haba, everyone. Welcome back to our weekly share. Today's Monday. Usually we give a share on Sunday. Baruch Hashem, as you can see, I'm still in America, and I'm sitting here in the car. I'm actually waiting for someone, so I have a few minutes to be able to share with you a thought about what's going on today, this week. As we discussed in the past few weeks, we're holding down the 3 weeks, and we're starting the 9 days. We're starting the 9 days this coming Tuesday night actually, tomorrow night, with Rosh Chodesh Av. We benched Rosh Chodesh this past Shabbos, and like we discussed 2 weeks ago, while we were still back in Yerushalayim, when we were looking over the Makom HaMikdash, we were discussing how the Avelis intensifies, and then it gets greater until where we're holding now is Rosh Chodesh Av. Next week is going to be the Shvia Shechol B'Y, the week that Tisha B'Av is in, post Shabbos, and it just keeps on getting greater until the day of Tisha B'Av, when the Avilas is so strong that we're sitting on the floor and we're not wearing our shoes, and so on and so forth. The other various halachas that are carried throughout the day of Tisha B'Av. But there's a very well-known, it's really halacha, but what I want to be able to take a little more hashkafa out of it rather than a halacha is that Rosh Chodesh of Mishanichnas of Mimatin B'Simcha. So of course we know that Rosh Chodesh Udar, and we discussed this a few months ago, that when we reach into the Chodesh of Udar, we're supposed to be Marbin B'Simcha. So, of course, the obvious, well-known understanding is if in Chodesh Udar we're supposed to be Marbin B'Simcha, Chodesh Ov we're supposed to be Matin B'Simcha, then obviously the entire year carries an extreme necessity to be able to be B'Simcha. And I've spoke about this before, and that's why I want to bring it up again, I think, at this time, when Simcha is a very, very important aspect of our life. And we all know the famous quote that is written in the Kitta Maran from the Breslover Rebbe, that mitzvah gedola liyes b'simcha. Mitzvah gedola liyes b'simcha. Tomid is that all the time, is that it's a great mitzvah. And I've asked, what does that mean, mitzvah? I mean, we know that there's Taryag mitzvahs, we know that there's 613 mitzvahs that we are obligated and commanded to do as Yidden, as B'nai Torah, as the children of the Rabbi Shalom, to just follow in the utmost format of what the Rabbi Shalom has given us guidelines to be able to follow. Therefore, we can get the ultimate response back from what we're looking for in life, is to follow mitzvahs, to do the mitzvahs, and of course to guide ourselves from chas v'shalom falling in avodas that allows us to live the ultimate life in olam hazeh. So what's this idea of mitzvah gedola liyes b'simcha when we're not finding simcha anywhere in any of these parts of mitzvahs? And the answer that I give is, and I've spoken, like I said before, we've spoken about this before, is that that's really the key to any way to be able to perform any mitzvah. We can't do it unless we have simcha. We know that Yismecha v'malchischa shemrei Shabbos, and we have Talmud Torah is, we say B'Marav, we say Talmud Torah Yismach, it's Shabbos Yismach Moshe Manas Chelkai. We say Ivderes Hashem B'Simcha, and we say V'Nismach B'Divrei Talmud Torah Sechel. We say B'Marav. That's what I was thinking of. So there's so many things. The list goes on. Really, is that there's so many things that we have that we can't do it without Simcha. And for sure the other way around this as well is that if we're doing it ba'atzis, if we're doing it with depression, and we're doing it with that lack of simcha, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to come out the same way, and really that's not what the Rabbi Shalom wants. So it is a time right now to be able, on one hand, to go in this idea of Avelis, and to like we said in the other past few weeks, to focus on the Avelis and focus on the gullus that we're in, to focus on the lack of truth and real, that the Rabbi Shmuli the Shechina is floating here. It's not. This is this world that we're living in right now. And listen, I mean, you see me sitting in a car right now. I don't have a car in Eretz Yisrael, and of course, life here is a little different than we have in Eretz Yisrael. And we get so caught up with the what we think is normal world of today. We're in the normal world where we're sitting in cars. Yesterday, I was going around. This is Sunday. For me, it's different. But we have to realize that, yes, after all said and done, this is not where the Rabbi Shmuli is really resting the Shechina. The Shechina is in the Makam HaMikdash, the Beis HaMikdash, and it's going to be rebuilt again with Mashiach. And then, like we said in the other weeks, it's going to be a totally different world than we're living in today. And that's Avelis, and that's why what we said a few weeks ago, when we were there on the top of the overlook, is that it's Avelis, I think, is a little bit of a personal Avelis. It's something that we're missing. We're missing ourselves, because this is really not it. But at that same time of having to be mematim b'simcha, we have to keep in mind that we need to do it with simcha. We have to have this sense of sadness with simcha. Obviously, as we said, is that it's not going to be our typical sense of simcha that we might have throughout the year, but we definitely need to do it with simcha. And therefore, the simcha tamid carries us through anything we're going through, and through anything that we might have that possibility of atzvus, of depression. We need to do it with a happiness, and of course a happiness to know that it's not long lasting, because yes, Mashiach's going to come, we're going to get out of it, and anything we need to go through, it's just passive. It's just something that we have to go through at this moment of time. And I think it's a very important thing to understand, especially for what's going on today. I mean, there is so much confusion, and I think you hear me speaking about this more over the past few weeks. People are so confused, and people are scared, people are nervous, people are questioning. But as soon as that moment comes when all of a sudden all this concern and questions turn into depression, you lost the game. We have to be on top of it to know that, okay, whatever we're going through, actually the entire world is going through, it's still not helping to, I'm just going to pull up, it's still not helping to do anything different than what really needs to be done, and that's for us to be able to get through it, pass through it, and be able to come out really on top. And the way to do that is through simcha. So yes, it's a time to be able to lower our level of simcha that we have during the year, but of course never to give up and never to lose that happiness, that simcha. And Emetz Hashem, we should all be able to be zoiche, to be able to have the greatest simcha of all times, to be able to greet Mashiach Tzedekani b'ma'haida v'yamayni umayin.